So I guess he gonna pull up on Brandon Cooks and be like, "What passing plays? It's my passing plays. What football? This is my football." What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're gonna talk some football. Houston Texans football. It seems like the Houston Texans have a little interest in a certain All-Pro caliber type of player that just possibly became available. So like the Houston Texans want to get interested, want to throw their hat in the ring and try to acquire said player. We gonna talk about it. We gonna break it down. Hey, but before we do that, hey, if you liking the content, make sure you liking the channel, you subscribing to the channel, you sharing the channel on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever social platform you use. Make sure you send the content on there. Also follow me on social media. The links in the description below. We giving away 30 days free Amazon Prime. If you sign up to Amazon Prime, you get 30 days free. Also follow me on all my social media platforms. The links in the description below. Follow me on all the social media platforms. Hey, let's get the channel growing. Make sure you like it, you sharing, you subscribing, and you comment on the videos as well. So hey, let's talk about, let's break it down. Cause it seems like wide receiver from the 49ers, Deebo Samuel, has requested a trade. He did the whole taking the 49ers off his Instagram and off his Twitter, deleting the pictures, unfollowing the team, all this because he's unhappy with the contract. And it said today that he actually has requested for a trade. We all know what that feeling is when a superstar caliber player requests for a trade. They really going to get traded. Now the difference is he doesn't have a no trade clause, so he can get traded to any team. He ain't got no say so in the matter. But if it's issues with a contract, he's definitely going to get traded to a team, kind of like the Tyreek Hill situation. A team is going to have to sign him to make this trade work. That's the only way it's going to work if you sign him. So you're going to have to give him a contract long term or give him a huge payday, whatever the case may be, because obviously that's the issue, especially with him being a second round pick. He doesn't have the fifth year option. He's seeing all the money like Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. He's seen all the other money, all this crazy money to receive. Even Brandon Cooks, him getting an extension as well. You've seen all the money that's being floating around. So obviously he wants to get thrown to the ring. And hey, the boy had a amazing year last year. I mean, the guy had 77 catches, had 1,405 yards, averaging 18.2 yards per reception, had 6 touchdowns, then had 59 attempts rushing the football, had 365 rushes, averaging 6.3 yards per carry, and an NFL record for receivers, 8 rushing touchdowns. You're talking about a dude that's 6 foot, 215 pounds. Like I said, he was a second round pick out of South Carolina. He's only 26 years old. Last year was an All Pro, first team All Pro, and a Pro Bowl. And like I said, broke an NFL record for the most rushing touchdowns from a receiver standpoint with 8. Dude's just a playmaker, just an absolute playmaker. And San Francisco really doesn't make any sense for them not to pay him. I don't understand what the issue is from a San Francisco standpoint. You just drafted Trey Lance last year. I mean, I know you got Brandon Ayuk, and I like Brandon Ayuk. I wanted Brandon Ayuk last year in the draft, 2 years ago in the draft. But you need to keep him paired up with Brandon Ayuk and like keep it going for, especially with the type of offense that you run. Now, in saying that, doing the things he can do, rushing the football. I mean, even if you take his rushing stats out, just off alone, 77 catches, six touchdowns, 114 receiving yards. That's damn good. I mean that right. That'll be in catches wise. He'll be second on the team in catches, but he will lead the team in yards, and he might lead the team in touchdowns. I don't exactly remember how many touchdowns Brandon Cook had, but he might lead the team in touchdowns. And to be honest, he actually took away from his own touchdowns. I'm pretty sure if he's not rushing the ball, getting 8 rushing touchdowns, his receiving touchdowns will probably be double digits. You're talking about a guy who has 1,800 yards total, had 14 total touchdowns, almost 2,000, almost 20 touchdowns in last season. Obviously, that's the reason why he's a first team All Pro. He's an absolute playmaker, and I can see Pep Hamilton using him in offense. Now, like I said, the reports are the Texans are interested in Deebo Samuels. They're interested in giving up the 13th pick for Deebo Samuels. You know how I said the other day, talking about not doing things to they haven't really done anything to help Davis Mills. They haven't brought nobody in. This move would do that. Like if you take the 13th pick and flip it for Deebo Samuels, you're definitely saying that you're more into Davis Mills than, like I said, initially thought. And what Lovey said last week will hold value, will be valid. That hey, they might have actual belief in Davis Mills if they're talking about taking the 13th pick and flipping it to get Deebo Samuel, to bring Deebo Samuel here into Houston. To be honest, my personal opinion, like Deebo a lot, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it for two reasons. It has nothing to do with Davis Mills, actually. For two reasons. And they actually connect. First reason is the team right now is not in a position or a place to go out there and get a superstar caliber player like a Deebo Samuels. They're not in that juncture of the rebuild. We are in year one of rebuild. Like last year was -1, -0 last year. I know it's no such thing as -0, but last year was year -1 in a rebuild. This is the actual first year of the rebuild. You don't really go after guys like that right now. And also, the second part is, like I said, you have to pay him off top. And if you look at the list of the top 10 receivers, top 10 pay raises for receivers, Tyreek Hill is one with his average salary of $30 a year. Devontae Adams is 2 with an average salary of $28 million a year. Hopkins is 3 with an average salary of $27.2 a year. Stephon Diggs is 4 with $24 million a year. DJ Moore is 5 with DJ Moore 5 is $20.6 a year. Keenan Allen is 6 with $20 a year. Mike Williams is 7 with $20 a year. Amari Cooper is 8 with $20 a year. Chris Godwin is 9 with $20 a year. And Brandon Cooks is 10 with $19.8 a year. What I just named after Deebo, at the very least, he's getting north of $24 million, $25 million a year. So you're telling me that you're going to invest 25 in Deebo and 19.8 in Brandon Cooks? You're talking about $45 million a year on 2 players, 2 receivers, not even on 2 pass rushers, not on a running back and a receiver. 2 receivers, your average salary is going to be combined salary is going to be between $45 and $50 million a year on 2 receivers, Brandon Cooks and Deebo Samuels. We're not in a position to do that. Like I said, if this was at the end of the rebuild, this is part of the reason why when you make the trade when you trade Deshaun Watson, you get multiple years of first round picks just because it's the going rate, is because you want to do things like this. Shout out to my boy Wise and Wink and everybody out there in the Discord, everybody out there in South Sports. If you're not part of the South Sports Discord, hey, check out my boys out there in South Sports. Make sure you get part of the Discord. Do what you gotta do to be part of the Discord, because it's a great conversation. Like I said, shout out to my boy Wise, shout out to Wink. We was talking about this the other day in the Discord about that possibly in year 3, because I think we got 2 picks this draft, 2 picks in 2022, and 2 picks in 2024. I mean 2023 and 2024. That we have 2 first round picks. Possibly in year 2024 in that draft, take one of those first round picks and flip it for a superstar caliber player, like maybe a Kyle Pitts if he wants out in Atlanta, or an edge rusher, or an outside line or inside linebacker, or another corner, or a safety, or a running back, just another superstar caliber player, another receiver or whatever in that part, because by the time you would have know exactly what you have with your quarterback, you know exactly what you have your offensive line, you know what you have your defense, you'll be in contention. Because right now, I don't care how good, how hype of a fan, how much of a Texas fan you think you is, we gotta be realistic and we gotta know that the Texans are not competing for a playoff spot not this year. The Texans are not competing for a playoff spot this year. Now, there are outliers. Teams do sneak into the playoffs. They have added the extra playoff game. I understand and I get that. But realistically, the Texans are not vying and fighting for a playoff spot and competing for one in this coming up season. So why go out there, trade draft capital, and pay a guy that possibly won't contribute for you this year, and by the time the team gets good enough that you can contribute, he will be able to be part of the team, and he be on a winning culture. You'll possibly be either trying to trade him or cut him, because he'll be a cap casualty. You'll be trying to get rid of him to clear cap space by the time the team gets good enough to compete for a said playoff spot. Because like I say, this coming season is going to be year 1 of the rebuild. So in that juncture, I really don't see the real reason to go after Deebo outside of you want to see what you have in Mills. because I don't care what side you're on, Mills. Contrary to belief, if you a Davis Mills fan, you think he's the truth. If you think he trash, whatever. And people think that I don't. If you think he's the franchise guy, by all means, I don't. If that's what you believe that. I think opposite. I don't think he's a guy, but that's a conversation for another day. We all can agree on one thing: he has to have weapons. Yeah, to get a fair evaluation, he has to have weapons. So bringing in a Deebo Samuels and having Brandon Cooks, having Nico Collins, possibly going out there and get a Brees Hall in the NFL draft. You got Marlon Mack as your backup. You would be actually put him in place to actually see what he has. And like I say, if you really want to be all in, trade for Deebo, draft Icky, draft Icky with 3 or something like that, and then you'll give an offensive line for him, and you give him weapons. You'll get an absolute fair evaluation, and that right there will tell me that you're all the way bought in on Davis Mills. Davis Mills is your franchise guy. You paying him basically nothing because he's a 3rd round draft pick and he's still in his rookie deal. You want to get as much as you can outside going to train for trading for Deebo, because you can afford to trade and pay Deebo because you're not paying your quarterback. Situations like that. That makes sense. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's what you're doing, because like I said, if you're doing that, then you're basically going to be wasting the years that you're paying Deebo. And I actually think that if you make a play for Deebo, it's more so for the fans. Like I say all the time, the Texans have nobody to sell jerseys to. The jersey that they have to sell right now would be Brandon Cooks. If you bring in Deebo Samuel, that's instantly selling jerseys. If you draft Sauce, if you draft Stingley Jr., if you draft Kyle Hamilton with the 3rd pick, that's going to sell jerseys. If you draft Thibodeau, if you draft Aiden Hudson, that's probably going to sell jerseys too. Icky's not going to sell any jerseys. Evan Neal's not going to sell. Offensive lineman not going to sell any jerseys. I don't even think Trayvon Walker's going to sell jerseys. But I can see Aiden Hudson selling jerseys. I can see people being hyped up about Kayvon Thibodeau. Not me, but I can see people be hyped up about that. Obviously, people be hyped up about Sauce. People be hyped up about Darius Stingley Jr. People be hyped up about Kyle Hamilton. Obviously, people be hyped up about those guys. With the 13th pick, if they go out there and get Chris Olave or Gary Wilson out of Ohio State, if they get Jameson out of Alabama, if they get Drake London out of USC, if they get a skilled guy like that, that can sell some jerseys. And obviously, if you trade for Deebo Samuels, that would sell some jerseys. And I think that's the reason why they would do it. And people are like, the team worry about winning, they're not worried about selling jerseys. You're absolutely wrong. Because the moment that they sign a free agent, what do? When it's a marquee free, they get ready to blast it and post the jersey. They want to sell. They want to get that type of revenue, because all the rest of the revenue the NFL gets, they share. TV deal, contracts, all that stuff. The Texans want to get revenue for themselves, and by doing that, they need to sell jerseys. They need to have ticket sales. Deebo would do that. Deebo do. They'll be coming there selling house shoes, be selling bikes. The plaid Deebo shirt. They be playing the damn song from Friday when he was creeping up the bike. Dun 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 dun. They'll be playing all that. They will be hyping that up, juicing it up to try to make this work from a financial standpoint, off field, not with football, with selling jerseys and selling all type of gimmicky stuff. They will try everything to play up with the fans, because I think that's what this will be. This will be something they can't wait to have. They can't wait to have the press conference with Deebo and show him around. They have the number 19 jersey. Hey, everybody go buy a Deebo jersey. That's something that they want to have. So that's what this tells me when I see that they throwing their name in the ring. And from what I'm hearing, it's actually aggressive talks to try to get Deebo. They are aggressively talking to get Deebo, which kind of surprised me. I didn't think that they would be trying to make a push like that. So I wonder if it is, especially if they're being aggressive with it. Is it Nick Caserio? Is it Cal? Is it Jack? Could it even be Lovey? Could it be Pep? And I think that's what it is. I think Pep is probably somewhere like banging at the table. Hey, bring me Debo. Put Debo in this offense. Let Davis Mills have a play like Debo where I can throw the football to him, run the football to him. He can even throw the football himself. We can use him in so many different ways, and then we have a speed guy opposite him with Brandon Cooks. That's gonna pay off dividends. I think they will get stats. I really do. I don't know how much winning it would do, but I definitely think they can get stats, and I definitely think they can be all caliber guys. And people are like, why would Debo want to come to Houston for the bag? Why does Tyreek Hill go to Miami? I know Miami is Miami, but he went to Miami for the bag. He was in Kansas City when he went to 4 straight AFC Championship games and 2 back-to-back Super Bowls and 1 Super Bowl. He's constantly going to be in contention of win in Kansas City, no matter what. But he want that bag. Like I've been telling people for a long time, there's 3 different type of athletes in this world. In any sport, football, basketball, baseball, 3 different type of athletes. Guys who chase the money, guys who chase the rings, and guys who chase their stats. Now, I think every player in sports wants all 3, but they prioritize them differently. Example, LeBron James. He wants to win. He wants his money. He wants stats, but he puts winning over everything. Russell Westbrook. I'm pretty sure Russell wants to win. I know Russell wants some money, but he puts his stats on everything. That's why he went through the whole stretch of averaging triple doubles at team success, costing team success, alienating players like KD and stuff, because he wants the stats. Carmelo. I'm pretty sure Carmelo wants to win. I know Carmelo likes his stats, but Carmelo wants that bag. Carmelo was supposed to be in Miami. He was supposed to be really part of the Big 3. He had a chance to go to Miami and a chance to come to Houston before he got old and came to Houston the second time. When he came to Houston. But he chased the bag in New York. He knew New York was trash. But he chased that bag. He took them big paydays twice. Well, I think one he took from Denver. But took them big paydays, took those big paydays, took those Supermax to get paid. Deshaun Watson took that bag to go to Cleveland. He could have went home to Atlanta. He could. He could have went to a good roster in Carolina or New Orleans. But he took that bag to go to Cleveland. Again, I think everybody wants to win. I think everybody wants their stats and everybody wants to get paid. But certain players prioritize things differently. I can see if in this type of situation where the 49ers have been to multiple NFC Championship games, if I'm not mistaken, I think they went to back-to-back NFC Championship games. Have went to Super Bowls. Was Debo part of the Super Bowl? Yeah, he was. 2019 Debo was part of the Super Bowl. Went to a Super Bowl. Coach under Kyle Shanahan, who's going to use him in all different ways, get you to an all-pro caliber player. Why would you want to leave San Francisco? You can end up in Detroit. You can end up in Jacksonville. You can end up in Houston. You can end up any different type of place. But are they going to pay me, though? If they pay me, I'll show up. I ain't got no problem going there if I'm going to get that bag right. And that's what it seems like. He don't have no problem showing up because the bag going to be right. So if the Texans pay, which, like I say, if you trade, especially if damn sure if you give them the 13th pick of the draft, you gonna pay them. I would much rather them draft a receiver. If they're gonna go receiver route and help Davis Mills and evaluate Davis Mills and do whatever they're gonna do, I would rather them draft a young receiver who you got 50 option on him. He's a younger guy, whatever. You know, Debo's only 26. I understand that. And like I said, there's nothing against Debo. I don't think the team is right in the right position for it financially, because what you're going to pay, you paying him and Brandon Cooks, and they just not on the right position as far as they rebuild. But I do think ticket sales would happen. I do think jersey sales definitely will happen, and it would be interesting to watch. I think he'll definitely get the stats. He also gonna get that bag as well. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.